Alright, we got some developments, man. We don't have some developments on the story side of things, but we got some developments in Sydney's comments. And I just saw this because she posted a pic. I just saw the pic she posted, and I just went in the comments, just for fun. Let's see what people are saying. Let's see if they're still talking about, what happened. And lo and behold, bruh, people are... There's way more positive comments, but there's a lot of hate in here. And I just thought it's interesting because a lot of it is like... I won't say that it's not valid, but... it's not something that she should be apologizing for. It's basically, okay, you have an opinion, cool, but like it doesn't really touch on whether what Sydney did was good or bad. So let's look at them, okay? Let's look at a few of them here. This one is basically the girl saying that Sydney should not have posted the video and that she won't believe shit unless it's coming from Jack or Gab's mouth. So this is pretty much just her in denial, okay? Like, you gotta think of it this way. Why did Sydney post the video? Why would Sydney post the video? I'm sure that this was not her first choice. This was not Gab's first choice. And I'm mentioning Gab because obviously Gab gave her permission to post it. I think that what it came down to is that Gab probably tried to record videos multiple times, basically explaining what happened, but she just wasn't able to. Just imagine it, okay? Imagine the guy you've loved, the guy you've been in a relationship for years, okay? And then you break up. That's hard enough on its own, but now imagine sitting down in front of a camera, thinking back to all the shit that happened and telling it and speaking about it. You know how much that shit would hurt? Just, bro, that would hurt so much. Like, she probably just can't. She's probably just unable to do it. But at the same time, like I mentioned in the video, she doesn't want to leave her supporters like hanging. They've been with her for years. They've been supporting her for years, and she just doesn't want to leave them in the dark. So what does she do? Get Sydney to talk about it. I don't know if she actually did this. I'm just thinking like in her shoes, like what probably happened. And I'm gonna give Sydney props, even though I don't agree with the way she did it. I'm gonna give her props for standing up for a friend, because that's what friends are for. Like, what's the point? Like, is it really your friend if they're not gonna have your back when shit hits the fan? I'm gonna give Sydney props for that. And even though she was apologizing now, I don't think it warrants an apology, because this girl's saying that she won't believe anything unless it comes straight from Jack or Gab. Sydney's video basically comes from Gab, because if there was something Gab didn't agree with, she would have told Sydney, and it's probably either edited out or she wouldn't have posted the video in the first place. Also, this one is about basically Sydney posted a story saying that she's trying to move on and be a better person, but whatever. And now this comment is saying that she can keep that shit to herself, and that all that it's doing is making things even harder for the fans, because we're seeing Jack and Gab fall apart. Now, again, it's like I said with the other one, Sydney did what a friend should do. And I know it's hard for the fans. Of course it's hard. We don't want them to break up. We didn't want them to break up, but it is what it is, And I side with the truth always. Just because we fuck with Gab and we fuck with Jack doesn't mean we're gonna ignore the truth. We are not blind. If Jack actually did her wrong, then it is what it is, and we just gotta be honest about it. And just because Sydney is telling you something you don't want to hear doesn't mean Sydney is the bad guy for that. You gotta just look at your priorities. Is it more important for you to be honest and fair, or is it more important to you to defend Jack no matter what? I'd rather be honest and fair. This one here is just so unreasonable. Okay, let's look at it, okay? He basically says that it's so easy for Sydney to cause damage to Jack Brinkman's reputation. I think he means it in a way that it ain't shit to her, like she doesn't give a shit. But let's look at the content, okay? Look at Sydney's videos. Go through them and try to find a video where she's bashing someone or basically speaking negatively about someone. Like, Sydney's channel is not a freaking drama channel. You know what I'm saying? So it's much more reasonable to think of it like this, okay? Imagine you're Sydney and Gab is your friend, alright? every now and then she's coming to you with her problems, you know, crying on your shoulder. And I don't know how often she would go to Sydney with her problems, but it had to be pretty often if she has this list of things that Gab has told her about the relationship. So she already has a preconceived notion of who Jack is in their head. One, from being around him, and two, from what Gab tells her, basically seeing Gab cry. So a normal friend would not have good emotions towards Jack. A normal friend would think badly about that person who's hurting their friend, right? So it's not a stretch. It's not a mystery why she would make a video out of frustration bashing Jack. Like that's the part I don't like either, because we got to be able to control our emotions. But it's no wonder she did that. You know, like, she's Gab's friend. No wonder she felt that strongly about it, that she lost control, or like maybe not lost control, but that she let herself go and really talk down on Jack. And I gotta respect it, because even though I didn't really agree with the way she did it, I agree with the intention behind why she did it. And as long as she kept shit honest, then there's really, like, at the base of it, no problem with what she did. So no, I wouldn't say it's easy for her to cause so much damage to Jack Brinkman, because she probably knew this shit for a while and has been holding on to it, and just finally now just let it all go, you know? This is like the other one that we just saw. Basically them trying to say, imagine if you were Jack, or trying to tell her to put herself in Jack's shoes. She is not in Jack's shoes, because she did not do that to her freaking boyfriend or the person she's in a relationship with. So you can't really be saying that. You know, like, if Jack actually did something bad and he's being called out for it, you can't look at the person calling him out and say, hey, how would you feel if we called you out? Okay, so basically what you're trying to say is that someone has been emotionally abusing your friend and you should be all nice with them. Is that what I'm getting? Because Lord knows, if someone like fucked with my friend's feelings, I would not go easy on them either. I would not be a sweet girl or a sweet guy or whatever it is, you know? I would be straight up cold. Because if you fuck with my friends, you fuck with me. Real shit. And I gotta respect Sydney for that. Once again, like, you can't always be sweet. Sometimes sometimes you gotta be tough and stand up for your friends. Real shit. This one is interesting because it just shows how blind people are, you know? I think the reason why Sydney brought up what Jack did to her, and basically how difficult he was and how he broke his promises, is to paint a picture of his character. It's not saying, oh, he lied to me, or he broke his promise, so you should hate him. That's not what she said. She's basically telling us this is Jack's character. I've known him for years. So just think about it. It's basically what she's doing is just stacking things on top of things. Like, when you consistently lie about things or are super controlling, like locking Gab out of her account, or not giving her the YouTube password to their account, or not letting her tag her sister in pics, not letting her film her friends, it's not saying that these individual things should make you hate Jack. It's just painting a picture of how controlling he is. And the reason why this is relevant is because you all know you don't spell abusive or toxic relationship without the word controlling. Like, that's the crux. Like, that's the base of an abusive relationship. That's like the first ingredient, if there was one, is someone who's controlling and manipulative. So basically what Sydney is pointing out all these things for is not to say you should hate him for this, is that it's just to show us who he is as a person and her experience with him. It wouldn't make sense for her not to talk about her experience. Who else's experience would she talk about? She is Sydney, so naturally she would talk about Sydney's experience with Jack. I don't know, bro. Am I missing something, or are you guys literally just like not able to see why she's saying what she's saying? So this one is basically a mix of everything that has been said previously that I've just showed, all in one big thing, except she actually touched on, I think it's a she actually touched on one of the things that pissed Sydney off, and that I actually mentioned in my first video. The fact that Jack's making positive videos. And I think the reason why it pissed her off so much is that, putting myself in her shoes, okay? if someone did me wrong and they're apologizing publicly, but they didn't say shit to me, that's a fake apology right there. I'm not accepting that shit. So, and that's basically what Sydney said is the case. Now, here's what it comes down to. Whenever you hear two different stories from two different people, you can never, unless you were there, you can never know who is telling the truth. But what you can do is figure out what makes the most sense, what is more likely. And I think it's more likely that Jack is putting out these videos, but not actually apologizing to Gabrielle in a proper manner. And the reason why I say this is because, just think about it, okay? Gab approved this video, so she's basically agreeing with the things in this video. And if in this video they're saying that Jack is giving out fake apologies, if that's a lie, Jack would easily be able to prove that. Easily. It ain't nothing but a screenshot of him either calling her or texting her and proving that he has apologized. So why would she lie if it's so easy to disprove her? So just there, it's simple, it's basic. It's more likely that Gab is telling the truth. And if she is telling the truth and Gab is putting up and Jack is putting out these positive videos, I say positive like this because it's fake apparently. So if Jack is putting out these positive videos and not apologizing to her, then of course that would make both Gab and her family and friends even more pissed off about it because they know the truth. That's one thing we gotta remember. They know more than us. Gab's friends and family know more than us. So being mad on Jack's behalf when you don't know as much as the people that are exposing him is not a wise thing to do. And this last part here, honestly, it's so laughable. Like, bruh, Sydney mentioned in his video that Jack didn't really care about YouTube. So how does him taking a break from YouTube speak to how much he cares about it? I don't know. And Gab selling programs or whatever she's selling doesn't mean that she cares more about money than YouTube. Like Sydney said, or like I think Macking Emmy or whatever her name is said, that's part of her job. Why would she not do it? That part's really just dumb. Like, nobody's bashing Jack for being a businessman, and even Sydney said in her video, like, it's not bad to be a businessman. There was more nuance to that. So I think it's really just like nonsense, honestly. So we've looked at a few of the hate comments and it's basically all garbage, really. So I just want to give my little touch on that, and we're still waiting for the updates. And like and share this video so it gets up in the recommendations and so other people can see it. Let's get it.